Hello, wonderful. This is Sarah K Ramsey here to talk about how to know if a toxic person is really changing. And it's so tricky in our heads because if our lives are going to improve if they change, or our relationships with our kids or parents, or not having to move out, or not having to change careers, or whatever else it is, we just really want them to change. So how do we know if they are really changing and they're not just using lip service, right? A little less talk and a lot more action. And the basis of a toxic relationship is really selfishness. It's playing by a different set of rules. It's I get to behave one way and you're supposed to behave another way. You're supposed to do the work of the relationship. You are supposed to take care of me. You are supposed to solve my problems. You are supposed to put up with my anger. You are not supposed to be angry. Whatever it is, it's a different set of rules and standards for both people. And what we miss is that sometimes the more unselfish we become, the more we give the other person permission to be selfish. The more unselfish we are, the more selfish the other person can be. Which means we end up doing all the work of the relationship, which means we're stressed out, which means they're avoiding taking responsibility for their own lives, avoiding getting the help they need, whatever else it may be. Okay? So truly changing, and the toxic person knowing they are changing and it being true, they're going to become less selfish. When you have a problem or concern, they're going to say, okay, I'll listen to that and I'll do some actions to change it. Not shut down, not flip it and blame it on you, not pretend they don't have any problems, okay? Or they may give up something that's important to them. Or they may allow you to be at the top of the pyramid. You get to be the most important. You get to have that day. You get to be mad. And they are less selfish. Now, what change does not look like. Promises, oh, I'll go to therapy, then flipping what the therapist says on you. Okay? Saying, well, I will change if you blank, blank, blank. It does also not look like, well, I'll plan a trip for us. That's a distraction. I'll buy you flowers. And then women will say, oh, well, but he was so nice this weekend. Because we're in a toxic relationship, and this is, I'm talking about in terms of a partnership at this point, we're so desperate for relief that any type of hope dangled before us, we will just hold on to it and just say, oh, it's all going to be different now. Because our lives will improve so much if the relationship improves. Our lives will be so much better if they change. But talk is cheap. Promises are cheap. I have never, ever one time in my life heard a story of, oh, I got my toxic person to therapy and then they got better and it all fixed. Never one time have I ever heard that. So if they're dangling therapy, they're just dangling hope. So how do you know if a toxic person is going to change? They're actually changing. They are being less selfish. They're not being the hero, right? Because being the hero is still them being the center of attention and still being them getting to be the most powerful person in the relationship. Well, look, I bought you flowers. Well, look, I planned this trip for you. Well, look, I was nice last weekend. Well, look, I didn't make a big deal at your grandfather's birthday. Okay? That is them being the hero. That's not making you the hero. Making you a priority. Making you the most important person in the relationship for one day, okay? It is still them setting the rules and enforcing the rules. And when they're really going to change, they're going to allow you to be a partner. They're not going to be the hero. They're not going to play victim. They're going to create a partnership, which means you are important too. Your needs, your desires, your wants, who you are is important too. And they're going to not be as selfish, so that, not that you can be more selfish, but so that you can take turns and it will finally be your turn. Have a great day.